So you just received your brand new retro chic Zapp Plus 2. Before you get started with welding, let's actually take everything out of the box and familiarize ourselves with what's in there. That way we're comfortable with our equipment and we can go down our permanent jewelry journey with a lot more confidence. Let's get started. So you've got your welder, you've got your power cable, your argon tubing, your grounding clips, your electrode and your diamond disc, your welding practice card, a fiberglass brush, the stylus, some shade 5 glasses, and a stylus stand. Why don't we start with setting up the welder and go over the features of the brand new Zapp Plus 2. Let's start with the back of the welder because that's where you're going to be plugging your power cable into. You've got your power port, your on-off switch, your optics port, where you would plug in a Cat 5 cable, another ground port, the stylus port, and your argon tubing port. Let's go ahead and just plug this in, that way we can get started and look at the actual face of the screen. Make sure your welder is turned off, and you plug in your power to the welder before you plug it into the wall. So now that we're plugged in, let's go ahead and turn it on. So unlike the previous versions of the Zapp or the Zapp Plus, the power setting is actually visible on the dial. To go up, you go clockwise, and to go down, you go counterclockwise. If you want to lock your settings, you just press it down, and then that way, your power settings shouldn't adjust and you have a pretty consistent power there. If you end up bumping into it or if you end up accidentally touching the dial, this won't move and your power settings will be locked in. If you want to change your power settings, go ahead and press the button and you should be able to adjust it again. So this welder, like the Zapp Plus, goes from 1 watt-second all the way up to 30 watt-seconds. When you're using a welder like this, you're not actually using heat like you would from a torch or light like you would from a laser. This welder itself is going to actually be a power box so that way you can complete a weld through a circuit. To make that circuit happen, you have your grounded clips and your stylus. Your grounded clips act as your negative or your ground. This is actually where you're going to be clipping your pieces into. So if you are working in any type of metal, whether it be gold or silver or steel, you're doing fine jewelry, small parts, permanent jewelry, this is what you can clip in with. There are other accessories out there like grounded pliers or grounded hemostats. There's a lot of different versions of what you can use to actually hold your pieces, but you just want to make sure that you have a ground because if not, nothing will happen. Now for your positive, you have your stylus. Since we have this, why don't we go ahead and plug it into the back. With the stylus, there's a red dot on top of the port and on top of the port on the actual welder. Those two red dots line up and then that way they sync together. With the stylus itself, you actually need to open this up, that way you can put your electrodes in. The easiest way that I've found to open this up is to put both of my hands around the stylus and push up with both thumbs. And then that way you can actually get to the collet where the electrode will go. Over time, as you're using your stylus, this will become easier to open. But as of right now, it's a little tight. And the reason I like to open it like this is that if I'm opening this with an electrode in, the electrode itself is actually pretty sharp and I don't want to accidentally hurt myself. So that's the safest way because you're not in the path of the tip of the electrode. Versus if I try to open it like this, I'm at much more risk of having an electrode hurt me. So now that we're looking at the collet itself, the collet is actually what's going to hold your electrode. If you screw it counterclockwise, it opens up. Clockwise, it'll close down and tighten. So I've got this open. Go ahead and get an electrode out and pop this in there. Now there is an actual length that your electrode needs to stick out of your collet. and the tip of the stylus cover. You can measure this out. It's about 3/4 of an inch with a ruler, but the stylus cover itself has a guide. You want the tip of the electrode to actually be between these two lines on your stylus cover. It should only be sticking out of the stylus about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. That way, if you are using argon, the argon is able to come out and actually cover your pieces. You're not too far out and you'll lose energy. And you're not too close in to where you can accidentally stick something. And this is where your stylus stand comes in play. Obviously you can just set it down, but it's a lot more convenient to put it into that stylus stand. That way it's out of your way and easily accessible. Within a microscope or an auto darkening lens, an ADL, you'll have this built into it. But if you choose not to get optics, this is a good option. And this is where your shade 5 glasses come into play. This is what's going to help shield your eyes when you're welding. That way you don't have to have a secondary optics option, or you can use these for customers if you're doing permanent jewelry, or if somebody wants to watch you work and they're learning how to micro TIG weld from you, or just curious, this is a good option to have on hand. Now that we've got these two components set up, let's go ahead and plug in our grounded cables. So like I said, you could get something like grounded pliers or a grounded hemostat, but these are stock and these come with it and they're pretty easy to use. You can either plug it into the front or you can plug it into the back. One option that you can do is you can have two different styles of grounded cables or grounded pliers plugged in for easier access. So if you are doing projects that require multiple pieces, or if you need just more options of holding, having the two grounded ports is going to be a little bit more helpful than if you had just one. With this, like I said, it's your ground. This is what you're going to actually clip your pieces into. Since you got this metal welding practice card, now would be a good time to test it out. Once this is clipped in and your welder is on, this is where you can start to play with your power settings. This is a fairly simple welder to use. You have on or off and your power settings go from 1 to 30 watt seconds. So you don't need to worry about the writing that's on this card, but it is really awesome to practice with instead of using something like precious metals that you might have received or something else that you don't really want to test and ruin like you could with this. So with this, once you're clipped in, you touch it to the tip of your electrode, and just in case, put on your glasses. And that noise happened because I pulled away. So go ahead and play with the different power settings with this and get a better idea of what you're working with when you are welding. Start at 1 watt second and go all the way up to 30 watt seconds. That way you can see what the different power outputs will do. And with steel, since it takes a lot more power for it to work, you might get a little bit of variance if you were doing something like gold or silver, but this gives you a good idea and a good frame to start with. Now that we've got our welder set up and turned on and our stylus set up, let's go ahead and just look at the plug-in for the argon tubing. So when you're plugging in your argon tubing into the back of your welder, there's a little tension collet back here. So when you plug this in, you want to make sure it's nice and firm and plugged into the back. And one way to test that to make sure that it is actually seated is by giving it a little tug. That way it doesn't pop back out and you don't accidentally run through your gas when you didn't need to. The other end of this tube will plug into your regulator. Go ahead and check out the Argon Setup video for further information on that. After you've been playing with your welder for a little while, you'll start to notice that your electrode will start to dull. You can sharpen these, but if you run out of your electrode, this is where your spares come in. You get a total of 3, and you have a diamond sharpening disc. You can put this into a pilot sharpener, or you can put this into a Dremel tool or any rotary tool to sharpen your electrodes. And then you also have your fiberglass brush. This is perfect for cleaning any oxide off the surface of your pieces. Especially if you're welding without argon, you'll start to see an oxide layer build up a lot faster. Oxide is just dark residue. This fiberglass brush makes cleaning that up a little bit easier. You can use this on any metal type, any surface. It's a pretty standard issue item and takes away the need to file or sand something down and just cleans up a dirty surface. Now that we've got our welder set up and have a better understanding of what came with the welder, go ahead and check out the rest of the series where we talk about setting up argon, sharpening our electrodes, and different optic options. You're in for a very exciting journey with your Zapp Plus too, and you'll be looking very stylish while you do it.